Absolutely everything we do should be focused on helping children develop self-regulatory skills. It's one of the most important things that children can learn. Children have a really tough time learning to do math or learning to read a book if they are preoccupied with trying to control themselves. And so one of the things that teachers should recognize is this is not intuitive in children. It doesn't happen automatically, and they can't just command that it be so. They have to actually coach children. Just as they teach children all kinds of other things, they can teach children to behave. And in teaching children to behave, they need to keep self-regulation in mind.
If you ask early childhood teachers the #1 social skill they'd like to help children develop, you may get answers that range from empathy and kindness to cooperation and respect. All of these social and emotional skills are closely tied to self-regulation, and together, these skills help children best get along with others. Self-regulation is described using 2 words, self and regulation. You don't call this social skill external regulation for a reason. As children grow and learn, as they become more independent, they need to rely on their own instincts and internal voice to distinguish right from wrong.
You can set up lots of external rules, but the child doesn't have to believe in them. The child may do them for you, but when the child gets to be who she or he wants to be, those rules are probably gone. Because those are rules that are external. You want them to have some type of internal understanding of their will and their spirit and how that shapes them.
It's easy to change someone's behavior with punishment and through fear tactics, but it's not long-lasting. And the only thing that children really learn from that is that whoever's the most powerful, whoever has the most strength, whoever can rule with fear wins. It doesn't teach a child about self-regulation. It doesn't teach a child how to think. It only teaches a child what to think, or it helps a child rely on external reinforcements and stimulus, whether that's positive or negative. Teaching a child positive guidance, teaching a child to be able to think for themselves, to problem solve, to try and work together with others to solve difficulties and conflicts, that takes a lot longer and it takes a lot of patience. And when that can be done, then the results are much longer lasting, and the child, no matter what level of ability they have, can be able to start working through on their own some of the difficulties that come at hand.
Since the difficulties children will need to work through are changing from hour to hour and day to day, external regulation isn't enough. Children need a more flexible way to approach problem solving. Self-regulation involves 2 key aspects. In simple terms, they are 1, not doing or inhibiting something you know you shouldn't when your impulses are saying do it, and 2, doing something you may not want to because you know it's the right thing to do. Young children have a lot of incentive to develop positive plans during play. Participating in group play activities is a great way for children to begin to regulate their own behavior.
Play itself builds self-regulation. And sometimes people don't connect those two, but in order to play, and particularly with others, because that's where it's really fun, you have to be able to not demand your way all the time. And so your investment in keeping this relationship with other children can help children who are very impulsive, for instance, or very active, kind of move back a little bit.
Another way for children who are sometimes impulsive to remind themselves to hold back is self-talk. Giving children short, simple phrases or scripts that they can repeat to themselves or to one another when they need to use restraint can be a helpful tool. An example of self-talk and internal scripts might relate to big voice and quiet voice. We're in the classroom. I need to use my quiet voice now. We're on the playground. Time to laugh and shout.
So by developing those little scripts as your instinctive response, things go faster and better and they start to use those same scripts. And then everybody in the room is using that same kind of language. You have those kids who'll say, oh, I'll do conflict res. I'll do the conflict res for you. And they go over and they do it really fast, but by then everybody gets it. So they'll go, looks like there's a problem. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Is that okay? Is that okay? Looks like you solved the problem. But they've done it so many times with exactly the same process that it's automatic. Just like for us, it's automatic to get in the car and drive to work. You don't have to say, turn on the key, push on the gas. It's a process that you've internalized instinctively almost.
Children need to be able to control themselves, to be able to participate successfully in more active and less active portions of the daily schedule. But teachers should also be aware that being inactive for extended periods can be difficult for some children. It's okay to be flexible by allowing children to participate in their own way or to choose another activity if a child feels unable to successfully contribute to the planned group activity.
And when it comes to choices, do they want to participate in the circle activity when they feel that they can't sit any longer, instead of relying on challenging behavior and hitting the kid next to them? So the teacher says, you know, if you can't keep your hands to yourself, maybe you should look at a book. And that's really where the child wanted to be in the first place. Give kids the opportunity to learn how to self-regulate. They will be ready for kindergarten because they're learning a skill, and let them get up when they feel they can't sit anymore. And then if they've gone to look at a book and boy, the next song looks like so much fun and they want to come back, let them come back and enjoy it. And that creates a community where kids feel they're important, they belong, it empowers them, and it really enables everybody to feel they're part of a caring community.
Being part of a caring community involves a lot of opportunities to figure out what to do and what not to do in certain situations. It's hard to predict how long it will take for a particular child to master self-regulation.
A teacher, I observed a teacher saying, you know, how many times do I have to tell you that? And the kid looked up totally innocent, no irony at all, and said, I guess at least once more. And I love that because he was really speaking from his heart. And it was like, I have no idea how many more times you're going to have to tell me that. Because how many times I need to practice something until I learn it is really different from every other person of different ages. And it's also different for me on different days. If I'm really, you know, well fed and well rested and well loved and I arrive at school, you know, energized for the day, I'm going to learn in a different way than if I come in hungry, tired, sad, lonely. So all of those things interfere with the way that I can respond to you right now.
Developing self-regulation is a journey. It's not a skill that, once in place, is always available to a child. Adults experience moments in which they lose control. So remember, give kids a break and enjoy them for who they are, not who you would have them be.
And I think it's really about understanding really how genuine early childhood is, that it's about not about getting to a certain level, but it's about it's the journey from how they began and to where they end by the time that they leave out the door when they graduate from preschool. So they have to be patient with the children and also with themselves and appreciate like this whole process of learning and adapting and these interactions with young children.